I was always smart. I was always intelligent. I was always able to get things done. And I think that I relied on that, but I just didn't necessarily always have the passion for education or the vision of where the education was actually going to take me or where I was going to use my education. I was more considering myself a basketball player, and I was okay. But I had a professor at the Illinois Institute of Technology. I'll never forget her. Her name was Miss Durango Cohen, Professor Durango Cohen. And I was taking her business operations class. And I was there, and I was just not focused. And I think I had failed her final miserably. It was probably embarrassing. Like, you could just tell that I just was not there. I didn't care. I wasn't putting up any effort. I got an F. And so I failed this midterm so bad, I was probably going to have to get an A on her final in order to even just get a C or whatnot. And so she pulls me into her class and she says, hey, Jeremy, what do you want to do with your life? And I respond to her and I tell her, I want to play basketball. I think by this time I had probably let go of my dreams to get to the NBA, but I was still holding on to being able to play professionally overseas or something like that. And she's like, what's your team's record? And I think at the time, the record was like 3-15 or something like that. I may have been averaging about like 20-something points at the time, but the record was pretty bad. And I think she said, Jeremy, you're on a team full of engineers, because the Illinois Institute of Technology at the time, it wasn't known for basketball. And I honestly wasn't. I was there for basketball, but education is what is truly prominent at IT. And she said, you got to get serious about what you're doing. I said, you know what? You're right. And she just told me that she saw a lot of potential in me, and she saw something in me that I probably just didn't. Not necessarily that I didn't see in myself at the time, but that I wasn't necessarily exhibiting. I think she even invited me to her house for Thanksgiving.
Did you go?
To her house for Yeah, I went over to her house for Thanksgiving. It was the first time a teacher had really, in college had had extended herself to me like that. And so I ended up just going over to my professor's house for Thanksgiving, met her and her family. She prepared a lovely dinner, went home. And then, after she kind of, when you eat with somebody, you feel bonded with them. Yeah. And to know that she had extended herself to me like that, I said, wow. I said, you know what, I'm not going to let her down. That final, I remember just staying up and studying for it and just studying and studying. It was an open book final. And I remember there was a friend I had, his name is Andrea Podcast, I believe, and he lived in Bridgeport at the time. Now, Bridgeport is a place in Chicago that is not very diverse. And as a Black person, you just really don't want to be in Bridgeport. Chicago is a very segregated city. Mm-hmm. You still have those particular areas where, if you're a Black person, you stay in this area. Yeah. And so I was over there and I wanted this so bad. I remember walking back from there at like 3 o'clock in the morning, from studying over there with him. I was my study partner and we were creating our little cheat sheets and whatnot and just reviewing notes. And I remember just walking back at 3 o'clock in the morning to my dorm, which was on State Street at the time. And I just remember saying to myself, like, man, I am crazy I can't even believe I'm over here doing this and walking in this, but I guess I just really wanted it. So I take the test and I thought I did pretty well, but I didn't know. But a couple of days later, she calls me back and she's so ecstatic on the phone. She says, Jeremy, you got the highest grade in the class on the final and I'm passing you with a B. Congratulations. And so I think that year I ended up getting all B's in all of my classes, having the first half of the year while I wasn't even paying attention. And so that's when I started really, really, really focusing on education. And I had ended up landing an internship that year as well. So that's where it all kicked off for me.